Hello. So chirpy. Oh, but that's because it is it
Long
is
weekend.
much later where you are. For me, it's still 8:30 in the morning.
Hope you've had your coffee.
I had
Okay.
one coffee, but it's like half decaf with a little bit of coffee in because it was coffee I made yesterday that I didn't drink, and then I heated it up and added a scoop of actual coffee.
That's one way to do it.
That's the kind of rush and efficiency mode I have been in this morning.
That's nice. Okay, well, everyone's still joining, but I think we'll get started and they can just continue to join. I can see it's been recording, so that's perfect. So, welcome everyone today. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and their continuing connection to our community. We pay respect to them, their culture, into the elders past and present. For anyone today, we do have live captions and transcriptions available, and if you'd like to enable that, the instructions are on the slide here. So you can go to More Actions, Language and Speech, and show live captions. My name is Ella. I will be your host today. I'm a security specialist at Microsoft. So yeah, I run the Microsoft Student Accelerator with two other hosts, Sanvi and Chloe. And this month, you have me. For our agenda today, I'll be sharing a few resources that we should typically share at the start of every monthly meetup and do a bit of housekeeping. And then we have our one and only Stephanie Norris joining us today for a few tips and tricks, and then we'll do a quick fire question round at the end. And I'll let Stephanie introduce herself a little bit later once we finish our housekeeping. But yeah. To get started, we've got the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador page. So if you wish to become a student ambassador, there is a link right on the screen there. If you don't know what that is, it's a program that's designed for students that are passionate about technology and are eager to share their knowledge with other people. You can develop some technical skills and also some leadership skills through AI-driven projects, setting up workshops, and creating video tutorials. So it's a great opportunity for you all. I also wanted to highlight some of the Microsoft Student Hub, which contains a ton of free resources, some of which are in the pictures above. So a key call out would be the GitHub Student Developer Pack that a lot of students enjoy. It's a fantastic resource if you're eager to learn about some software development skills or just practice in general. As a note, all our sessions are recorded, so if you couldn't make it today, this will be uploaded to Michelle Sansford's YouTube channel. And there's a link at the bottom with a link to some of the technical sessions we've had previously. So like I said earlier, we run these each month and we've been doing it for several years now. So there's plenty of great content on there. There's also a Microsoft Source newsletter, which is curated content for the developer community. So if you're interested in learning about new technologies and want to find opportunities to connect with other developers, this is a really good source. You'll find information about hackathons, technical training, and global developer conferences. So if you scan that QR code, you can link to the Microsoft Source page or the links on the bottom there. Thanks, Michelle, for sharing some information there. That's great. But also to keep up with what events we have running, we have a Facebook and LinkedIn group, so feel free to join those. We post about our monthly sessions online, but also there are several in-person ones, particularly in the past we've had a few in Melbourne, and there'll be some upcoming in-person events in Sydney later in the year. So there's also a meetup page as well that you can see those in-person events. And then back to Stephanie here. So Stephanie, did you want to do a quick introduction about yourself, who you are, and then we could start kicking off the session with your slides.
Sure.
So over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, everyone. Hi, I am Stephanie Norris. I am the lead talent sourcer on the ground in Australia. I work on senior leadership hiring across sales and engineering, but I mostly focus on the sales organization and sales roles. So I don't do graduate recruitment necessarily, but I understand the full end-to-end process, and I've been doing this for quite some time. So my university that I went to was UNSW. So I did a Bachelor of Arts and then I did a Master of Arts. And here I am in tech. So you don't have to be a tech person. I guess you have to do tech degrees to work in technology. So that's who I am. So thanks for having me. Do you want me to share my slides now?
If you want to pop up your slides. Basically, today's session was about, Stephanie being a recruiter and coming in. And I know there's a lot of students out there that have a lot of questions about the recruitment process and, what it looks like to have a good CV, what they look at on LinkedIn. And I know every time I go to an event, the same questions are coming up. So hopefully today we'll be able to answer some of those. And I actually met Stephanie at an awards night and she had hired half the table. So I think that says everything. She has a real eye for some talent. So if you have any questions as well, please pop them in the chat. I'm going to be doing a quick fire round after Stephanie goes through some foundational content. And so any questions you always want to ask a Microsoft recruiter, this is your chance.
Just give me a second. I am
Sure.
super going to share the wrong screen probably. I do this all the, oh, right there and there. Oh my gosh.
There we go.
So I'm probably one of the least technical people working here. And even though I've worked in tech for a long time, I am on the people side of things because I sit in HR. So I've already sort of done my intro. Okay. So I did prepare a few slides, but mostly just so there was something there on the screen. So I thought we can just broadly talk about how AI is changing the game, how tech's bigger than coding. There's more than one way in. We're going to have some rapid fire questions and then just talk about where to start, what we can do with some of the things that I'm going to talk about today. So tech, I don't know what everyone's studying at the moment, but tech is everywhere. So as I said, I did arts. I never, ever thought I would work in technology when I sort of was at uni or ever. But technology touches every part of everything that we do, right? So, I mean, it's in retail, it's in education, it's in public sector. So we've got all these industries and every single industry has technology within it. And so it's not going anywhere, I don't think, technologies, but it's going to keep evolving and changing. So there isn't one type of person that works in technology or here at Microsoft. There's all different types of personas and skills. So, we have different departments. We'll have the HR department, we have legal, we have finance, we have engineering and then sales, and then all the different roles that fall into that. There's project management, there's delivery. So really there's all the types of roles that you could imagine, but just within this technology company, and you can always align to an industry vertical. So yeah, different types of people, different types of personas. And I think what really matters is curiosity and a willingness to learn. And just being able to demonstrate the impact of what you can actually do, not just sort of words, I guess. So it's definitely, capability. What impact have you had?
I think even just looking at the chat, we've got quite a few different types of people here as well. So it goes to show that tech really is everywhere. We've got a chemical engineering, some data science, so all sorts of areas you can really focus on. So I love that.
For everybody. Which I didn't know, right? But I'm not technical, but I am building agents now, which is crazy. So, so there is, university is definitely one way into tech. It's a great path for some people. It's not the only one. Or you can upskill and do other courses as well on top of your degree. And so, we've got lots of certs and boot camps here at Microsoft, but there's all types of courses sort of often throughout the industry so that you can keep building up on your skills and building, being able to show your work in a practical way. I think that's, just all the work that you're doing is important, even if it's uni work or community work. Everything, you need to sort of break it down into the skills that you're using for that particular project or thing that you're working on. So what, I guess with graduates, it's a little bit harder because you don't have that much experience yet, but it's definitely showing that capability, curiosity, that willingness to learn. It's something at Microsoft we talk a lot about, having a growth mindset, and with the technology changing as quickly as it has and is, you just really have to stay agile and stay curious. So what we notice, I guess, when we're looking at profiles is what you've done. So a clear story about how you got to what you've put into your CV. A CV with no proof or a LinkedIn profile with no proof isn't really great if you can't talk about the impact that you've had. With AI, it has changed the game, but not the need to stay human. So I definitely think, events, networking. I was so happy to see there's alumni groups and that you guys stay connected. That's a really important part of your career and building your career, these, alumni groups. And in 20 years time, you might be the bosses of these companies. And I think, as Ella mentioned at the women's event lunch last month, because I have worked in the local market for 20 years, I did know a lot of ladies in that room, and I'm aging myself there, but it's so important to have those connections and just stay in touch with people, even if it's just, via LinkedIn, just keeping on top of where people are going, because you never know who you're going to hire one day or who you might want to hire you. So those relationships, you start building those now. So AI does change the game. I think it's great to use the tools, but don't hide behind them. How AI has changed how we hire and the skills that we look for, I think it's definitely more technical now than it was before. So having a technical fluency, having an AI fluency as well, is getting, is very important, because we're all just madly learning how to change the way we've been working, but you'll all have the opportunity of entering the workforce with all these amazing tools. So, just learn how to use them before you get here, and you guys will be great. So yeah, keep things human. Just learn how to use the tools to help you get your work done. But definitely, it's all about that human connection and staying human with all this technology. It's those relationships and those human interactions, I think, that are going to be really important. Where I'm seeing investment or growth is definitely software, cybersecurity, and AI always. So Azure here, obviously, but security. Sorry?
Oh, I think just someone had their mic on. It's all good.
Oh, okay. What was I saying? So we've got to secure all the data now that we have in the cloud. And so that's always going to be cybercrime. That's interesting. So there's different avenues that I'm seeing growth in. But definitely, I think keep up your going to networking events, joining alumni groups, connecting with people, super important as a lifelong connector and recruiter.
Like I always say, ground zero is university, where you meet all these people in such a natural environment. So really make the most of it when you're at university.
I still have some friends that from uni, we all end up, you all end up doing different careers, and it's really interesting to see, but it's so important. So join those alumni networks. Like, I'm part of the UNSW one when you finish, for sure. Okay. So debunking some myths. First myth, you need a perfect resume. You don't need a perfect resume. You need a clear, uncluttered resume with no mistakes in it. That's the thing that matters the most. It needs to be clear, concise, to the point, no spelling and mistakes, no errors, because now, there's no reason why you can't spell check and everything on your work before you send it out, right? So it doesn't need to be perfect. We understand that you don't have heaps of experience, but it just needs to be easy to read. in terms of having experience, you want to look at any projects, any casual jobs, like anything where you can take, you know, where you've worked in groups or you've done something, you've performed some sort of activity, and just like think about breaking that down into steps and what are the different things you've done, like even in your uni groups. You know, if you're building things, that's amazing. Talk about that. That's the kind of thing we want to see, not just words, but evidence that you can, you know, that you've done these projects. How did you do them? What did you learn? What would you change next time? All right. If you get rejected, I'm not good enough. Unfortunately, everyone, like so many people get rejected all the time from one role. You know, there are a limited amount of actual openings, and there's always just so many candidates that apply. So it's just super competitive. Don't take it personally. It is what it is. So you got to sort of just pick yourself up and keep trying. Don't take it personally. The recruiters don't read everything. So we have lots of profiles to go through I would do it, scan through in about 10 to 30 seconds max. And we are looking for the keywords and the skills and the activities that will align to what the hiring manager has asked for. Yeah, keywords is such a, all I do is write Boolean searches, which is basically like a code of words to find the talent that I'm looking for. And networking is so amazing, as I said. You know, it's about learning and asking questions and making connections. So that's super important. Having those connections can help you get in front, getting to that next stage, to get in front and to meet a human as well, right? The amount of people who refer their colleagues or friends to me directly, there's lots, right? So I think you need to make friends with the internal recruiters as well. Okay, so standing out, you've got your LinkedIn and you have your resume. I'd say having them both done is important. LinkedIn is just the number one professional networking, social networking platform. And so it's your digital first impression. And often, that someone looking at your LinkedIn profile could lead to them reaching out to you. So that's what I do in my job. But also I always look at a resume and the LinkedIn profile at the same time. So you need to have both. I'll just talk through these and then I'll open up my LinkedIn and just do a bit of a demo. But we're going to focus on being clear and specific. Oh, sorry, someone's hand up.
No, that was just me. I was just going to say that's awesome. Doing a LinkedIn demo. Love that.
Yes, we'll do a demo in a second. Sorry, I've got all my screens up, so I couldn't see there. Okay, super important. So you add your summary. I'll jump in. So yeah, it's all about just sort of showcasing what you've been up to, what your skills are, your projects. You can use AI again to sort of just polish things up, but please don't use AI to just write your profile. We hate that, and also it's not cool. And same for the resume. So just use AI to touch things up after you put because you really want everything to be authentic and in your voice and about what you've been doing. I just need a sip of water. Sorry, one sec. Use my LinkedIn cup. Ha.
Have you, Stephanie, ever used an external AI to search yourself up or a candidate to see what the world looks of them? No?
No, I don't.
Just scanning LinkedIn. Okay.
Just LinkedIn. I think for more the software type of roles, I'm not technical enough, but I think that we look at GitHub and stuff like that as well. But only for super senior leaders. If I'm doing a director hire, I
digital footprint,
I look at Sales Navigator. So mostly, which is not a recruiter tool, but a sales tool to sort of see leads it generates. It's more for salespeople, but it works for recruiters as well. So I mean, you look to see if people have won awards and things like that. So sometimes, but I'd say, not really. I don't think we do big, deep searches until, you're quite senior. Because everything's online, like everyone, you know, everything's open. So in your resume, like I said, be clear and specific, use real words, like skills, like so searchable skills, whatever skills that you have, and you can add them. Don't add too many, but like, you know, if you're, you should always tailor your resume to the job that you're applying for as well. Or if they're the same types of roles, make sure they match. A tip I have for you as well is if you're applying to different companies, to save that resume with the date that you applied and the company name, just so that you know where your resumes are going. I have on more than one occasion received emails from people or resumes that have like a cover letter saying, you know, really excited to be working at AWS. So, you know, attention to detail is super important. So one way that you can avoid that is if you have, and then that you can track where you're applying and with what CV as well. So yeah, tailor it slightly, align it as much as you can to the job description, because that's what the recruiters are looking for straight away. It's just a scan of the words. So if it's a salesperson that needs Azure and app innovation or whatever the things are, like we just look for those words. And so if you have done those roles, or you have all those things, or you have a lot of those things, you know, make sure that you're including that same verbiage, because it really helps sort of highlight your profile that yes, you're the person, or you, or a skills match what we're looking for. So keep it clean, easy to scan. It needs to sound like you know, as much as possible, because the whole point of your LinkedIn and your resume is to land an interview. Oh, one moment, I'll just pause there as well. I've just been talking at you guys. Does anyone have any questions right now?
We've got 2 questions in the chat. So we have, how do you use the ATS system? Do you go through all the resumes you received, or just those applied early, say 50 out of 150?
I think this is part of the, might be somewhere. Look, we don't go through every single one, but it's also not first come, first serve. Like, I think it just depends on what the hiring manager of that particular role is looking for. You know, it could be location, it could be a certain skill set. So we don't look at, I mean, I scan most of them. The other thing we do, right, is you take the Boolean keyword searches. So, and we just pop that into the system, right, to see which applicants may have that. But I mean, I look at, yeah, we'll flip through them. So there isn't it's not automated. Well, not here at Microsoft, nothing else is checking it, it's humans. So we are still doing that. So it's going to be the most relevant things that you can ski. So that, you know, that 10-second scan is super important. Have those keywords and clear and concise.
Makes sense. Got another question from Daniel. Do you encourage putting soft skills from a JD in a resume?
If you have them. So never put anything in your resume if you're not that. But if it's you, anything that's you is fine.
Are soft skills like ever part of the Boolean search that you go through, or is that sort of further down the line of the CV analysis?
I mean, you can't really tell just by looking at the paper. So that usually comes after probably like a screen and some interviews. But if you have, for example, videos on anywhere, the internet, you're presenting or doing things like that, or depending on type of, you know, some of the work that you do outside of uni in your spare time, like maybe, but I think it's more that's something that, you know, this is that being human part. So that's that you need to get your resume right so that you can get in front of someone and show them how awesome you are and why you're good for the job.
So maybe those keywords are some of those words that you'd be searching for with the Boolean search, and maybe not the soft skills are that important. You showcase that in the interviews or on a video.
Because the soft skill is, that's just it, right? It's not, and you can't really even write it. You can't be like, I'm personable and energetic. I don't know. I get along with, you know, there's some of it you kind of have to say.
Makes sense.
Face
Yeah.
to face.
We've got another question. Should we do this at the end, or we've got quite a few coming through? Or would you rather do them at the end, or go through this first?
Let's go through this in case. I just want to do the demo, and then we've got questions and things anyway. So maybe I'll just do this part first. Is that cool? Okay, really quick. I'm using mine because I didn't want to embarrass anybody and use theirs. So this is your LinkedIn. If you don't have one yet, you should get one. So there's a couple of things I'm going to highlight here that we want to be updating, or that you can update. So you want to have, I recommend that you edit your URL. So you can do that just by editing the public profile URL. So I've just got my name there. It's just easier it's just my URL. So I would update that. And you want to have a banner. You need to have a headshot, professional shot, not like a Facebook photo, and not your kids, and not just, you know, a headshot. You can have your, you know, your education up here. You probably want to have, oh, I don't know why that's looking ugly, but I'll fix that. I was fixing it this morning. So you want to have a headline. If you're open to work, you can click these, finding volunteer opportunities. So I look for people who are open to work on LinkedIn. That's one of the things I search on, is open to work. So I would put your status here, and you can, I think you should do an about. So all of this is where you can sort of highlight who you are. You've got activity that you can do. You can post. You can have your experience. Now, I'm not looking for a job, so I will just let you know. So I don't have lots of bullet points because I'm not looking. Anyway, so you've got your education. I think you should update your skills here as much as you can. So this is where you can put, there's soft skills in here. Any licenses, any volunteering that you do here, I'll just show you. I don't know what I even have here. Anything that anything that you're doing, any extra stuff. Any LinkedIn, everything that you can add to populate your profile really helps. Oh, that's gone now. AI. Anyway,
so you go through all of these and look at all the credentials, all the certs. If you're
if you're technical, 100%, right? So I don't have any certs myself, but like we might be looking for like an Azure something. Sorry, someone help me. Like a certain certifications we look for, depending on the role. It also just shows like how much extra learning are you doing on top of your daily. So where is I've also got a PDF I'll drop in. I can share with you guys as well. But yeah, so LinkedIn's your digital first impression. So make sure you've got your headline. Go beyond student, add your direction and a few real skills. So like, for example, aspiring data analyst, Python, Power BI, interested in AI. So this is not very pretty, but that's like what that's supposed to be, right? Your about section here is where you keep it short. You just sort of talk about who you are, this is where you be authentically you, right? What you do. And then skills in your activity. So like be active, share posts if you can, like have a point of view. I definitely check candidates' posts and sort of see what they're doing, what events they've attended, who they might know. So those are things I would be looking for, but I just also recommend that you do. So update all these sections. You
Sometimes
can update your URL.
Writing an about section or your headline can be kind of difficult. Do you have any specific tips about what way to format it? Because I can see you're saying making hiring cleaner, more human, easier. Some people do, like I have security specialists at Microsoft. Like what is the sort of format that you would recommend to make it easier to be spotted, just in a feed or something like that?
I think, again, just having those keywords in everything is really important. In that about section, just keep it, you keep it short, but you could say, like, explain who you are, what are you studying, what are you building, what do you value, what's like, just that's where you do a bit about you, I guess. That's where that's
Is there any red flags that you see and you go, okay, that's not what I want to be seeing? No?
Only if there's mistakes, right? Like the biggest annoying thing for us is just like, why there should be no mistakes and disparities between resumes and LinkedIn, like dates and all of that needs to match, right?
Okay. So don't overthink it, just be authentic, give some detail about yourself. We don't have to worry about a certain structure or anything like that. It's about authenticity and accuracy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
And so mine's just, what drives me? Helping people, organizations, like filling jobs. Like that's what I love to do, that stuff. And you can see here, I have a lot of connections because I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years this year, which is so embarrassing. I'm so old, but this is, you build connections. You don't, obviously this is my job to build connections, but these are people, like I've been connected with people for 20 years on LinkedIn. So I'll stop here. Maybe I'll ask if there's any questions on the LinkedIn piece while I'm on this screen.
Okay, we've got one from, are rage bait posts or countercultural casual LinkedIn activities a red flag? Could argue this is a targeted engagement.
As a red flag for your personal stuff?
I would, if you're putting like sort of rage bait content on your LinkedIn, is that rage bait?
I wouldn't.
Like red flag.
Depends what it is, I guess. Like we all have I don't know.
I think it's a red flag. I don't think that
I don't
LinkedIn,
know how I don't want to.
I don't think you should be rage baiting people on LinkedIn. No. I think you shouldn't be making your goal should not be to make people angry and make people outraged. Your goal should be to engage with them in a positive manner that is teaching and enabling. And, yes, if you're an influencer, whatever, do that stuff on your TikTok if that's the kind of person you are. But I don't like that content on TikTok either. I think those people are not Microsoft people. So where we're looking for culture, that is not who we are. We are not looking to make people angry in order to get more engagement.
We can't do that when you're an employee here. We have social media guidelines that we need to follow. That's why I wasn't sure how to answer, because it's like internally, no. If you're not here yet, it just might hinder your chances. Even on like we can find the internet, right? We can just see everything. So.
Yeah,
be a good person.
Be a good person.
Be a good person.
And remember your digital footprint. People can see stuff
forever.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any other? Sorry, I'm back here now.
Any other questions for LinkedIn? If not, we'll go back to the other questions from previous ones.
Yep.
So we had one quick question. When someone's built something technical but decided it wasn't worth pursuing further, how do employees think about that? Is it seen as a good judgment or a red flag? So maybe like a failed project that you walked through.
We love that, but like, what did you learn from it? I guess, like, where did you get to? Like, what was the story? Tell the story, and that's fun. Like, we have a growth mindset culture here. Fail fast and then start up and just keep trying, right? So it's okay to when we're not perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. We're all learning. I make mistakes all the time. Like on my LinkedIn profile, just then I have no idea why it's not working. So it's okay, but you need to be able to talk about what you learned from it.
Yeah. Sure. Hi, I'm Nav. I'm the one who posted the question.
Hi.
So, I experimented with some RAG LLMs, sort of built at home because I couldn't really afford the expensive stuff. So I did learn a lot about the architecture and underlying technical stuff underneath, like what's actually going on under the hood. But it was not successful at all. But like, how would I actually?
What would you do differently next time?
Yeah. Okay. Like, how would I convey that on, say, a LinkedIn, or like, say, because a lot of people want to say, like, because we're at uni, you're encouraged to come up with like success stories, like, oh, I did this, but I reduced something by like 50% or increased productivity by like 20%. How would I do that if it didn't increase or reduce anything? There's no measurable metric attached to it.
You make a post and you say, like, I was working on this project this week and my goal was to do this thing. And what I learned during the project was that the way I was trying to do it was not going to work because of these 3 things. I've been thinking about how I might take that forward and do something else, or whether I should dismiss that, throw that away, and start from scratch. What do you all think? And then like open that up as a question to LinkedIn, and you'll get like loads of people giving suggestions and stuff like that. But that post that is on your profile, that shows that you are learning in public, learning out loud, which we love. It shows that you are looking to grow. It shows that you're looking to work with other people by asking for help from the network. And so, and you'll probably get a bunch of other people then try and connect with you, follow you, as well as engaging with your post. And those things make your LinkedIn profile more active. They add more color to it. You can pin that post if it does really well into your profile. And, you know, yeah, just I think you should be posting something like ideally every day, but like when you're early in career, maybe it can be more like 2, 3 times a week. But that kind of, this is what I've learned this week, this is what didn't work, this is what did work. That is messaging that works really well on LinkedIn and that potential employers love to see.
Oh, thanks for
Problem
that.
solving.
And just a follow-up question, should I then link that to sort of my GitHub repo? And so like if anyone wants to see what it actually built,
Yes.
they can see.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
I think
Thanks
so.
for that.
That's all that I don't do that myself, but the technical interviewers would do that for me, right, Michelle? I don't actually know what
Yeah.
happens.
On my LinkedIn profile that I shared earlier, if you, oh, can I just share that actually? Let me just share, and I'll just bring this down. Come down here. Okay, so here's my profile, but if you, and you see I've made it look as good as a LinkedIn profile. That does not look like a code repository, right? That has all of my stuff on it. And like that is entirely possible to do on your thing. But you see what I've got here? Oh, just look at how cute this snake is. Look, he's eating all my contributions. So I have this many contributions, but this little snake is going around eating them all hungrily. So cute. But anyway, what I do now, whenever I've built something, so for example, I'm going to a conference next week in Malaysia and I'm going to deliver a slide deck. Instead of sending out the slide deck to them, I have built that as a website. So you can see how each chapter is, so that's slide number 1, and you can click on it and you can see the text about what I'm going to present. And then it goes through like each chapter. So I have the slide and I have the content, and then I go to the next one. Now, sometimes I will, for those things, create more than just the deck. So I'll turn the whole deck into a workshop, and it will have like a bunch of like exercises that they can do within there as well. So, you know, it is entirely possible for everything that you do to create an artifact that you then attach to your GitHub. And of course, you know, you can find all of my repositories in there as well, so people can look directly at the code if they want to. Most of it, you see most of them say public, 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 public. This one says private because I'm writing a book. And so that's private. That's what I do in my own time. But, you know, you can showcase all of your stuff by turning it into a web app and then like highlighting it there on the page. So like GitHub is so flexible in terms of like showcasing your work, and yeah, totally do that.
You can be so creative about how you share your work, and you can always turn something into a demonstration of some of your skills. I also think like if you're afraid to put something out there because you haven't succeeded in something, then like no one's really succeeding at making, you know, the next best startup in university. Otherwise you'd be a billionaire already, right? And if no one ever posted about that, then you're not going to be able to showcase those skills. So don't be afraid to fail at something and share your learnings. I think that's how everyone, and we're not always, you know, making the right decisions. We're constantly learning, especially with AI. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to unlearn and a lot to learn. So just keep that growth mindset in mind. But that's a great question. I think a lot of people got a lot out of that. And thanks for sharing, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
thank
can I
you.
just
That's like, right.
yeah, just have one more question with follow up with the GitHub. So if I'm sort of doing AI work right now, and what I've been doing is basically following recipe books and cookbooks on basic machine learning. Now, ideally you want to be posting, original projects, but if I've just like basically followed the recipes from a textbook, should I just also be posting about that and showing that, hey, I've started doing the foundations of, say, machine learning, and I did these recipes which demonstrated classical supervised machine learning, and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I would pitch it as um, enabling people at the same level as you or people just behind you. So you say, this is what I've been learning this week. This is what I recommend to other people wanting to learn this topic. This is how I did it. This is, that kind of stuff, so that it shows you as a leader amongst other students, because you're teaching what you have learned by, sharing your learning, sharing your findings. But yeah, definitely do that. Post even each day. This is what I learned today. This is what I liked. This is what's good. This is what I recommend. Even stuff like, here's a podcast I was listening to on that topic, or here's a book I read, or here's a paper I read, or whatever. Share it, but not in a, yeah, look at me, look at all the things I'm doing. It's more like, here's what I've done and I want to help you all around me learn what I'm learning, so in that way it doesn't make you look like you're just bragging all the time. It makes you look more like you're a leader amongst your friends and community.
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective on that. Yeah, sort of like helping others as well. Like if you're sort of struggling in that space, then have a look here. No, I like that. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we've got 2 more minutes. So maybe, Stephanie, is there anything you'd like to sort of bring up? I know we haven't got
Just
through all the
quickly, I
content.
want to
Yeah.
talk about interviews super quick. Whoever you interview with, whatever company, you need to have examples ready to go. So we always recommend just, star a method similar to that: situation, task, action, result. So set the scene. So you could talk about this project that didn't work, for example, what needed doing, what didn't work, what did you do? You decided to stop the project for now, and then the result, what changed. I've learned that I'm going to go out to the community and find more answers about how to how to do the project. So show how you think. It's so important to show how you think, and don't just regurgitate the information on your resume and LinkedIn. This is your chance to really demonstrate your softer skills and just be prepared. So prepare if as much as you can, and just be aware of like whatever company it is, what they're doing, any big things that are happening at the market, and definitely just you need to have a point of view. Your experience is more valuable than you think. Everything that you do is learning, is an activity. So every action, what you do all day long, it's all about how you explain the skills behind whatever you're doing. So yeah, just wanted to say thanks very much to this week. I think tailor your resume for one role, practice a star answer, and message one person on LinkedIn. You don't need to be perfect. It's just have a go, but definitely like pimp your profile as much as you can. I think that's people go look at that. Like I share all the hiring managers' LinkedIn profiles with the candidates and vice versa when we're talking. So definitely have that, all the things, all the work that you're doing, post it somewhere and share, and make sure that you've got links to all your different platforms, like in your resume, in your LinkedIn, in your GitHub. So Michelle had a really beautiful example of that. So like all the bits of social media and things to link all your work together. Okay. Thank you. So that was my little preso anyway.
Thank you, Stephanie. Really appreciate that. I think there was a lot of good questions today and a lot we learned. I even learned a lot. And Michelle, thank you for sharing your sort of experiences as well. I think, if you keep going and, sharing what you're doing in the world, what you're learning, and making sure that you're really building a story about who you are professionally, you can't really go too wrong, I would say. But yeah, big thank you to Stephanie. Thank you for joining, and I will see everyone hopefully on the next Microsoft Student Accelerate meetup, which will be next month, first Friday of the month, as always. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.